Now it's time for our speaker. And I know you're all excited because he always makes us laugh and he always makes us think. Please help me welcome Adam Lightplay.
Hey, thank you. Oh, this is fun. Looking forward to this. Okay, let's see. First thing, got to test all the technology, so I'll just put up a test pattern here. That's sort of a Puna test pattern there. Not quite the one we're used to, but almost there. Okay, so what shall we talk about? Well, we often talk about that we are star stuff. You know, even the scientists agree that we're star stuff. We're all the molecules, we're the cosmic things that made up the whole universe. And in our spirituality, we also believe that that energy of the universe is focused through us, and the seed of that is there within us. And whenever I think about energy and transforming, I always get excited by vortexes. I think vortexes are really where it gets interesting. A tornado is that vortex where the energy is different between the hot air and the cold air, and just that difference of it going, rushing to a different form, you get big to-do, big all kinds of stuff going on. And I don't know if anybody, probably a lot of you know this, the thing for dieting is calories. But what is a calorie? And a calorie is actually a measurement. It is the it's a measure of energy. And it's the amount of energy that it takes to take 1 gram of water and raise it 1 degree Celsius. And in Celsius, of course, boiling point is 100. So a calorie, so you add a calorie to a gram of water, boom, it's hotter. 97 degrees Celsius, you add a calorie, it's 98 degrees. Gram of water, you add a calorie, 99 degrees. Add another calorie, it's 100. That's when it reaches boiling point. Then it gets interesting. You have to add 504 calories to turn that 100 degree water into 101 degree steam. So it takes a lot of energy to change forms. So that's what you need to remember is that, there's the vortex and there's us. So when things change form, it takes a lot more energy to make it happen. And in my opinion, that's probably why the age of Aquarius is still dawning. It takes a while to shift the whole race and to shift everything. Speaking of age of Aquarius, I thought I'd throw this in. And since it's got trucking in it, it's a shout out to Tag too. So just want to include that. So we are the infinite compacted into form. And the way I see it is that in the beginning, we were just awareness. We were God. We were the wholeness, the light, the all. And as I've said before, that's kind of about as exciting as if you had a white canvas with some white paint. It's all beautiful, but what are you going to do with that? So we had to have something else. So the way I see it is we had to create dark. We had to create something that was the opposite of infinite light, like an anchor point. And you got to kind of expand your drugs, go out on the porch with Patty or something and kind of expand your consciousness to the point where you see this whole twisted thing where there's the light on one end and the dark on the other end. And when you do that, when you have an anchor point of darkness over here for the light, then you get everything in between. Then you get the whole spectrum. You get all the shades and colors and vibrations. And they really say that everything is vibration. Even the matter is really just based on how the atoms are vibrating. So everything is vibration. And we only see part of it. There's a whole spectrum of vibration that's microwaves and radio and sound and light. But when we look at the light spectrum, what we have, as you can see here, if I'm still, that is so glorious, isn't it? So you see it extends from gray to gray when you do your PowerPoint in a brightly lit room. But just imagine in your mind's eye a beautiful purple on the left and a deep red on the right. And what the spectrum does is it comes in from, it first enters our vision in the ultraviolet, the purple, and then it goes through all the colors and up to the red. We're going to come back to the colors more later on. Because the colors also relate to the vortexes where we come into being. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about, is chakras, because those are exciting to me. And a lot of people feel that those are a really good description of how our infinite multidimensional self becomes this physical unit here. And so many people see 7 centers. It could be a million, it could be infinite, whatever you want to believe. It's just 7 seemed like a nice way to break it down. And it really resonated with different parts of the body. And there's another version of them, and you can see the colors. My thirst chakra is a little dry here. So there we are, in peaceful meditation. All right. So we've got the 7 chakras, and I'm going to go more in detail, but briefly, starting at the bottom, we have our root chakra. Oh, and what I should mention also is the chakras are, they're not just on the front of us, that we kind of see them going through us multidimensionally. So the crown chakra, the connection to source, which I think is missing in this picture, let's back up here on. The crown chakra kind of goes upwards and the root chakra goes down into the ground, but all the other chakras actually extend through our body this way. Mm-hmm. So there's not just the heart shining out here, but there's definitely a lot of energy on the backside of the heart chakra. And when we do Reiki, a lot of times we can feel that energy, that vortex that goes through all those chakras. So on the bottom is the root, connection to the earth, and then we have the sacral, which is the creation and the sexual, and then you get up into the yellow, and that's the power. What's the Hawaiian word? What do they call it? Na'au, yeah, for that in the center there. And then the 4th chakra, right, boom, there in the center is the heart. And then you got the throat chakra, communication, and then the 3rd eye, vision, and then the connection to source on the top. So we are like on a string, and our kundalini, our spine, our kundalini chi, whatever you want to call it, all your favorite labels, they're connected to that. So we are this divine string that stretches all the way from the infinite lightness up there to the infinite solidity in the center of the earth, or whatever you want to have your darkest black hole, which is another exciting vortex. And I figure all that stuff being sucked into a black hole probably comes out in some other universe. Maybe they've got, they got their Big Bang over there, and then their stuff gets sucked into a white hole, and then it comes over and creates our Big Bang. So any of those things are possible. But right in the center, my favorite chakra, is the heart chakra. And that's a great starting point because it's just that center. It's that heart. It's that love. It's that knowing that we are connected to each other. It's our awareness of who we are. And love, I mean, who am I to define love? Everyone has an experience of love, and it's used so many different ways. But one of the things that it seems like to me is a recognition of myself, a recognition of the beauty, of the magic, of the multidimensional godness that's within every other person. And you probably notice, at least the way it worked for me, is when I'm hanging out with somebody and getting to know them, 99 times out of 100, I understand them more. I see their humanity, and I can't help but love them because I recognize that light that's shining in them. So, boom, heart, great starting point right there. Now, let's progress from there. If you think about expanding and how these chakras overlap and are next to each other. So, our heart has got power on one side and outreach or communication on the other side. So let's work our way down. Just, heart, it says up here, love, hope, balance, forgiveness. That's all in the heart. And then the next one, our power, in yellow, that power center in our stomach and our solar plexus. And that's our metabolism and our willpower and our happiness. And that's where we take that love in our heart and we make something happen with it. We'll get to Mauna Kea later. Okay. And then below that is the sacral, the relationship, the self-esteem, sexuality, which of course leads to creation. So more creativity, that leads to more of these beings and more creation. And then, of course, at the bottom, like I said, is the root. That connects, that's our source. That's the area for myself, honestly, I need to expand more. I'm really good up here with the woo-woo stuff, but I'd like to increase my awareness of my root, my solidity, my groundedness. So that's the base. That's if you're a tree, that's your roots, your trunk, you're planted in this earth, and you got your solidity. Okay? So if we go back to the heart, and then we move up the other way, from the heart, the next thing is the throat chakra. And that's expression. And I learned a very important thing in my Reiki class I took not too long ago that reminded me, it's not just about communicating. This chakra is also about listening, which obviously I don't do as well as rattling on. So this is communication. This is both. So again, it's right next to the heart. So I take my heart, my love, my awareness, and I want to communicate that out. I want to resonate with my fellow human beings. I want to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony, and I want to laugh together and all that fun stuff. And then as we go up from our communication, we go even greater awareness. The third eye, that's probably the chakra everybody knows. Wanga, wanga, wanga. You know, that awareness, that seeing beyond this realm, seeing the auras, seeing everything out there. And then at the top is the crown. And you can feel that when sacred bowls or gongs are playing, or if you know what ASMR is, you feel that tingle, you just know, ooh, and it's often represented by the lotus because it kind of opens up to that whole beautiful stuff up there. All right, so what else we got? We got colors. One more rock and roll reference for somebody. So that white light divvies up into all those colors, and we basically, anybody know who Roy G. Biv is? Remember that? Roy G. Biv, the way you remember the colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That's the way that you go up the spectrum. Here's another beautiful picture of flowers in that same color. So what have we got? Let's see, so here we got a rainbow, and this has got the colors in the correct order. So red goes into orange as it's transitioning to yellow, which makes perfect sense. The yellow transitions into green. I'm a little colorblind. Maybe that makes sense to you guys or not. I don't know. And then green transitions into blue. I think green is in there because yellow and blue are so far apart. Yellow and blue are so different that green had to come in there and just mediate and fill in the difference there. You know, orange is obviously half yellow and purple. Green is half yellow and blue. Okay, green took one for the team. Okay, and it's hard anyway. Then we got indigo, blue. Yeah, got the blue. Then you got indigo, which is another blue. And then you got violet. And I'm wondering about indigo. How do we get two blues? You know, everybody else has their nice place in their red, orange, yellow. And suddenly two blues show up. I mean, did blue bring a friend? Oh, that's my cousin Indigo. Hey, you know, dude, we already got a blue. We invited you. Yeah, but he's my cousin. You know, let him in. You know, or maybe Indigo had a band. You know, remember when you were in the band and the kid with the band, he wasn't necessarily the best musician, but you had to have him in because he drove the band, right? So maybe Indigo had the band. Indigo knew somebody or something. But, okay, anyway, that's all my delusions. If you want something that's supposedly true, I looked it up. And apparently Isaac Newton was one of the first guys that played with the prism. And he was spiritual, and he liked the number 7. We all like the number 7, it all makes sense. So he saw, like I showed you earlier, the spectrum is really just a big gradient of colors gradually changing. So he divided it up, and indigo was a popular new dye at that time, hundreds of years ago. And so he decided to call that section indigo, so that's fair. But actually, some people are starting to fade indigo out. Indigo may go the way of Pluto or something because, you know, it's blue and then it's purple, so indigo is kind of slightly questionable. So anyway, it's a lovely color and lovely children and all that. All right, so let's see. But not everybody draws the rainbow. Some people leave out indigo. I found this one while shopping around, and this one was like completely wrong colors. Orange, red, purple, violet, blue, green, yellow. So that, yeah, that's going to be, let's see. So O-R-V, Orb the guy, not nearly as good as Roy G. Biv. All right, so there's another picture I ran across while punching up the prisons and all that. And I couldn't find the picture, but if you're flexible enough to look over your shoulder, take a look at that stained glass window in the back there that you've probably all seen with the state of Hawaii. And as Stephen likes to point out, that's a chakra bow, and it's kind of the opposite of the way a rainbow works. Purple's on the top, red's on the back. So just kind of get that in your mind's eye and keep looking at me. So even before I saw that, I had been thinking about the state of Hawaii and what Hawaii would be like spread across the spectrum. And so I think there's really no question about the root chakra, chakras 1 and 2, where the root and creation. And one more visual aid. John, could you stand up? John is wearing the first and second chakra shirt today, so. Yeah, how about that? Perfect visual aid to support that. So if you think about Mauna Loa, the lava, and the root, maybe that new island that's not even popped up yet, Malihi, the next Hawaiian island that's coming at the bottom of the ocean, maybe that's the root. Maybe Kilauea, that's definitely first and second chakra energy, it feels like to me, is going on in here. And then let's see, yellow is power. So if we move up the state, we move up to another part of our island, to the mountain that's revered as the most sacred and powerful and is really in the news today. You can't really see too much in this picture here, but this was what I took of Mauna Kea the other day. And I don't know if you've looked toward Mauna Kea lately, but there is something magical going on. I mean, we all know about the protests and the protectors and the whole issue that's up there and the respect for that power. But every time I look up at Mauna Kea in the last couple of weeks, the weather is something awesome. You've got those, biblical rays of second coming light coming out of it, or they're coming down. And this day there were some glowing sparkles up there, and people have been seeing fog bows and moon bows. So Mother Nature is joining in on the fun of saying, yes, this is a sacred mountain, please pay attention. So then if we move across the state and up the chakras, get back to Maui, one of my favorite islands. Anybody that's seen a sunrise from Haleakala, I know there's something pretty sacred going on up there also. And I've heard more than one person say that Haleakala is the heart chakra of the planet. Could be, certainly if you believe it, certainly if you feel it. So, heart chakra on Maui. So then we move across Maui County. Don't want to leave out Molokai and Lanai and Ko'olawe and Molokini. They're all beautiful. They may be part of that heart chakra. And then it's also moving into the communication and the outreach. Now, when you get to communication and vision, you get to the most populous island. You've got Oahu out there that is the center of things. It's where our TV stations come from. And so there's a lot of communication, connection, vision going on out there. And of course, Kauai is the oldest island in the state, although there are much older islands even further out. So Kauai certainly makes sense to me to see that as a crown chakra. These mountains, I don't know, that kind of looks like a crown to me also. There are some of those beautiful valleys on Kauai. So I could certainly see that as the crown and the connection to source. Just one fun way to look at it. That's just what I've seen. And to wrap things up, I'll post a link on the website so you can find it. Reverend Mark actually sent out a link to a video a few months ago, and it's a meditation video on all 7 chakras and the colors and vibrations and even a tone and a word to be associated with each chakra. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention another exciting one on the chakras. Let me just find the chakras here. From the bottom up is I saw in a picture it was saying the root chakra. I am. Second chakra, I feel. Third chakra, power, I do. Heart chakra, I love. Throat chakra, I speak. Third eye, sixth chakra, I see. Crown chakra, I know. You could also flip those, I think, because this could be I am. This could be the ultimate awareness that I am. All right, so anyway, moving back through these. So to wrap this up, I'm going to go ahead and play just from the fourth chakra on, the top last three chakras from this video. You can get a sense of the tone and the beauty, and if it works for you, I'll make sure I post a link on our YouTube site or on our Facebook page, so you'll be able to punch it up and watch the whole 8-minute thing if you so choose. So maestro, give me some volume there, and we... Just let this in, feel it, and enjoy it.
Fifth chakra, the vowel sound is I. Sixth chakra, the vowel sound is A. Seventh chakra, the vowel sound is E.
you all, you beautiful energy beings. Remember who you are. You know, for the first time in my life, I think I've not gone overtime. Might even be undertime. So we can wrap it up, but if there are any burning questions, I'm happy to take that. Any questions on this subject? Yeah.
I don't have a question, but I've done chakra healing for 40 years now. The indigo is the deep blue ocean. Throat is sky blue. And there is a big difference. One to the other.
Thank you. Yeah, and I didn't want to, exclude indigo just because it was darker. That's racial. You can't do that anyway. So if you love indigo, no offense to indigos. I was just riffing on it.
You can just go home, right?
All right. Well, thank you. And once again, know that. Remember, you are beautiful, infinite energy extending into this universe in many beautiful, exciting ways. Thank you.